Sorry about that, Chief. Where's 99 at? Welcome back to Studio 26 on this Wednesday evening, my friends. Boy, I have frog in my throat tonight. I think he brought squatters. Well, it's time for the Hump Song of the Week, my friends. Song to get you over the hump of the halfway point of your work week. Of course, most of you are probably well past that, but I'm still going to play the song anyway. Why? Because it's my show and I can do whatever I want. Meh. Okay. Well, now that I'm acting like a 2-year-old once again, the Hump Song of the Week this week is one of my favorite songs, done by a group I never expected to do this song to begin with. Hey Joe is an American standard, American popular song from the 1960s that has become a rock standard, and as such has been performed in many musical styles by many different artists since it was first written. Hey Joe tells the story of a man who is on the run and planning to head to Mexico after shooting his wife. However, diverse credits and claims have led to confusion as to the song's true authorship and genesis. The earliest known commercial recording of this song is the late 1965 single by the Los Angeles garage band The Leaves. The band then re-recorded the track and released it in 1966 as a follow-up single which became a hit. Currently, the best-known version is the Jimi Hendrix Experience's 1966 recording, their debut single. The song title is sometimes given as Hey Joe, Where Are You Gonna Go? Or similar variations. But the version I have for you today is from a group from Texas. Remember these guys known as ZZ Top? Yeah, they did a very nice version. Do a very nice version of Hey Joe. And I'm going to play it for you right now. And it is today's Hump Day Song of the Week.
Where you going with that gun in your hand? Hey Joe, I said where you going with that gun in your hand? I'm going down to shoot my lady. You know I caught her running around with another man. I said I'm going down to shoot my lady. I caught her running around with another man, and that ain't too cool. Hey Joe, I heard you shot your little lady down. You shot her down. Hey Joe, I heard you shot your lady down, down in the ground. Yes, I did, I shot her. I shot her down in the ground. Yes, I did, I shot her. Way down in the ground. I gave her the gun. I shot her. Oh. I guess you go down the Mexico way. You gotta be free now. Ain't no hanging gonna put a noose around
ZZ Top and their rendition of Hey Joe on this Wednesday evening edition, second cup edition of, second pot edition of First Cup was what I was trying to say. Coming up next, it's news right here on the old network, Gunther's House of Friends.
Fox News Radio, I'm Pam Puso. No apparent progress as the government shutdown nears a 10th day, but the two sides are talking.
The president scheduled a series of outreach meetings, starting late today with the entire House Democratic caucus, and made plans to meet Thursday with the entire House Republican conference.
But as Fox's Ed Henry tells us, House Speaker John Boehner won't bring the entire conference with him.
Speaker Boehner has now said he's not going to bring the entire House Republican conference over because it's too little, too late. Instead, he's going to bring over tomorrow a small team of negotiators to try to start working out a deal with the president.
After the morning meeting with the House GOP, the president will huddle with Senate Democrats in the afternoon. Republicans are demanding talks on deficit reduction and Obamacare before they approve spending legislation. The president says he won't negotiate until the budget is approved with no strings. Janet Yellen is currently number 2 at the Federal Reserve, but come January, she could be number 1. The 67-year-old nominated by President Obama to take over for Fed Chairman Ben Bernanke.
Well, I think we all agree, Mr. President, that more needs to be done to strengthen the recovery.
Yellen, who needs to be confirmed by the Senate, would be the first woman to head any country's major central bank. At this hour, authorities in West Virginia are expected to hold a news conference after a man with a gun fired up to 24 shots outside a federal courthouse in Wheeling. Police returned fire, killing the man, who the mayor of Wheeling says was a retired cop. Officials say one person inside the courthouse suffered minor injuries. On the streets of Chicago, 33 fewer suspected gang members. Raids were carried out this morning.
This really is a new phase of organized crime. The gangs and obviously the cartels are really what we're up against both here in Chicago and throughout the region.
DEA Special Agent in Charge Jack Riley says the gang members were involved in drug trafficking and murders. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Fox News Early Prime, breaking down business news and its impact on your bottom line. Your World with Neil Cavuto.
That's how I do business. That's why I am business.
Bold positions and brash opinions on the topics America is buzzing about. The Five.
How do you think this will set in with the American people?
This will be the pulse of the nation.
Washington insight and political know-how from the best in the Beltway. Special report with Brett Bay.
The epicenter of the political world is here.
The number one place for fair and balanced coverage. Fox News Channel.
What's wrong with working hard to make our lives and our kids' lives better? Nothing. At Fox Business, we don't have a problem with success. We have a very big problem with those who get in the way of it. We don't come out of the box bashing those who make money, just the politicians stealing it and the bureaucracies wasting it. We're not just sitting behind a desk. We're out in the field, on the floor, with the folks. Because when a story moves forward, so do we.
Fox Business, the power to prosper. Check your local listings.
U.S. aid to Egypt is getting slashed to the tune of hundreds of millions of dollars. It's a response to the Egyptian military removing President Mohamed Morsi from power and taking over in July, sometimes violently cracking down on protesters.
Senior Obama administration officials say the cuts to U.S. aid to Egypt announced late tonight are aimed at protecting America's core interests in that country and the Mideast. Defense Secretary Chuck Hagel personally telephoned Egyptian General Abdel Fattah al-Sisi to inform him of the decision.
Fox's James Rosen. Aid could be reinstated if Egypt moves towards a more inclusive, freely elected government. Another arrest in the beating of an SUV driver in New York City by a group of motorcycle riders. 8 bikers are facing charges, including an undercover NYPD officer who's charged with gang assault.
Wojciech Brazok's free on bail up on gang assault charges. He was off duty taking part in a biker rally that got violent. The driver of an SUV was chased and beaten after a confrontation where one of the bikers was run over and badly hurt.
Fox News Radio's Chris Foster, the officer's lawyer, says video will exonerate his client. The attorney says his client was nowhere near the SUV driver. Prosecutors maintain the officer smashed the SUV's rear window. A pro football player faces weapons charges in California.
San Francisco 49ers linebacker Aldon Smith had a party at his house last summer, and during it, shots were fired, some from his handgun. He ended up being stabbed. When Santa Clara County Sheriff's deputies searched his house, they found 2 rifles, including one that qualified as a prohibited gun under the state's assault weapons ban. In another search a few weeks later, they found 3 more guns, 2 of which qualified. None had been registered with the state.
Fox News Radio's Jessica Rosenthal Smith has been on leave from the team being treated for substance abuse problems. A mixed bag on Wall Street. The Dow up 26, the S&P up 1, the Nasdaq down 17. Pam Puso, Fox News Radio.
From NPR News in Washington, I'm Jack Speer. The Obama administration is holding up hundreds of millions of dollars in aid to Egypt until that country gets back on a path toward democracy. NPR's Michelle Kelman reports Egypt has been a major recipient of U.S. aid for decades, and officials say these are not permanent changes.
The Obama administration began reviewing its $1.5 billion a year assistance program after the Egyptian military ousted President Mohamed Morsi in July. Now officials say they're ready to recalibrate aid. The U.S. will continue to help Egyptian authorities protect their borders, provide security in the Sinai, and fight terrorism. But the U.S. is withholding some large-scale military systems, including the delivery of Apache helicopters, Harpoon missiles, and tank parts. Officials say they will also hold up $260 million in cash assistance to the interim government until it makes progress toward holding free and fair elections. Michelle Kellerman, NPR News, Washington.
Democrats and Republicans appear no closer to an agreement to end the partial government shutdown. President Obama met privately with Democrats at the White House today. He plans to meet with Republicans tomorrow. Emerging from today's session, New York Democratic Congressman Steve Israel said one person can end the shutdown right now.
There are probably about 220 to 230 votes to open this government today. There were 220, 230 votes to open this government yesterday. There will be 220, 230 votes to open this government tomorrow. It takes one person to allow that vote to come to the floor, and that is Speaker Boehner.
Republicans are continuing to demand President Obama negotiate with them on his health care law and spending legislation as a precondition for ending the shutdown. Nation's housing market is struggling to keep chugging along despite the ongoing shutdown. As NPR's Chris Arnold explains, the fallout is not too bad yet, but things could get messier.
Lenders can't check people's incomes on tax returns because the IRS system for that is offline. Most big national mortgage lenders, though, say they're finding ways around such obstacles. Still, there are problems that they haven't found ways around. Guy Sakala with Inside Mortgage Finance says, take a small but important USDA loan program. It's for home buyers in rural areas.
That's a program that's virtually closed down now, and you can't get a loan through that program. Anyone who was buying a house and depended on those mortgages is pretty much on hold.
Sakala says if the government restarts soon, most of the delays are recoverable, but a longer shutdown will cause more damage. Chris Arnold, NPR News.
The International Monetary Fund is repeating its warnings about the potential dangers of allowing U.S. default. The agency says a failure by Congress to raise the debt ceiling would produce a worldwide shock that could threaten the global economy. A mixed close on Wall Street today. The Dow Jones Industrial Average gained 26 points to close at 14,802. The Nasdaq dropped 17 points. The S&P 500 closed up a fraction. This is NPR. Defense Secretary Chuck Hagel, along with Army Secretary John McHugh and Chief of Staff General Ray Odierno, traveled to Dover Air Force Base today to pay their respects as the remains of 4 U.S. soldiers killed in Afghanistan arrived. Hagel's trip came amid criticism over the suspension of $100,000 death benefits to families of fallen soldiers due to the government shutdown. However, the Pentagon announced a deal with a charity to solve that problem. Boston school officials say they are relieved school bus drivers showed up to take students to and from school today. That was after a surprise